Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Fucking Jesus Christ was my camp counselor.
Arts and farts and crafts.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Another episode of Hypecast!
Hypecast.
Show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I am the other co-host, David Bell.
I'm your guest, Daniel O'Brien. Do I introduce myself that way?
Yeah, you
Great.
did it.
Good.
Yeah,
It's
welcome.
so great to be catching up with my friends in podcast, which is the only way that I can talk to my friends now.
It must be
Yeah.
recorded.
It's really strange.
Oh, how are you? How you doing, Dan?
I'm good. I'm doing well. It's just starting to be summer here in New Jersey, where I live, and I live on the beach, which doesn't make sense for most of the year, and it finally is starting to make sense, and I'm very happy about that.
That's cool. The water over there, I used to go to Cape Cod a lot. It's fun to look at. Do you get in it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't get in it
Yeah.
over there.
Got fun.
Did you have, we had the good beach and the bad beach growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Like they had the good beach that was further away and was more crowded. But like the bad beach was closer, but it was also closer to like the hospital and the medical waste.
Oh man,
dump.
A trash beach, yeah.
The trash beach.
we absolutely
You
had
know-
a trash beach.
The beach where Gary Busey steals that guy's hair in Point Break.
Yeah.
That was like our bad beach.
Oh. Dan, thank you. So what's new? Is there anything new? What's going on? Do you I mean, I guess do you have anything you want to tell people at the start of this? A statement, a manifesto of some kind?
I do. I mean, well, manifesto. I've got one of those. I mean, you're all gonna pay, obviously, one day. That's
Yeah.
not what I'm here to talk about mostly. I have been told repeatedly that I don't do a good enough job of promoting the podcast that I do with your friend and mine, Soren Bowie. So I should.
Who's telling you this?
Our business boy, our big beautiful business boy, Michael Schrouer.
Many people are saying
It's just him over and over again. Yeah, it's him. It's him a lot. And like I will.
it's really just him.
A couple times a year, I'll be like, "Hey, I wish our podcast made more money. You're the business guy. Why isn't it making more money so I can retire and just do the podcast?" He says, "Well, first of all, the podcast is 50 hours of your time a year, so it's not really. It's an hour-long phone call once a week." So you shouldn't complain about it. And second of all, you never promote the podcast. You hardly ever used your massive Twitter following to promote it, and then you deleted Twitter. You begrudgingly blue sky about it. And I heard you on the Daily Zeitgeist, and they asked you if you had anything to plug, and you said no. All right. Good note.
Oh, that's great. That is a good note. Well,
It is.
I mean, what is the podcast?
It is a bold marketing strategy. Yeah.
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 Yep.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the podcast?
The
though?
podcast is Quick Question with Soren and Daniel. It's I guess one of my favorite things to do, just because I like my old pal Soren very much, and we started it with these ideas of I would come to him with questions about like how to be a better person, or you know, how to like talk to girls or whatever. You know, it was very coded as like nerd and jock giving each other advice, because I would ask him about life stuff and he would then ask me about things going on in pop culture, because he had a wife and 2 kids and wouldn't have any time to consume things. That was the stated premise of the podcast. It has never been that, and is essentially just like an hour-long phone call between 2 comedy writers who hardly ever talk about the business of comedy writing. So if any of that sounds like a good pitch to your listeners, check it out. Quick Question with Soren and Daniel. QQ with Sad.
Those are some of my favorite podcasts, honestly. Like with like the agenda list, like shooting the shit.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
Good. I'm glad.
And it must be fun to make. Have you ever just not had shit to say to each other?
There have been plenty of times where we would start, and before we start recording, we say, I don't have anything. Do you have anything? We sit for a couple seconds. Our producer might chime in, say like, here's something that people are talking about on Reddit. We'll stare off into space for a while, and then we'll just start. One of us will say, let's just hit record and let's just start talking and see what happens. And
yeah.
And then somehow an hour will go by and the podcast is done.
It's just a fugue
just
state.
Fugue state, correct. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Lovely. Everybody check that out. Oh, I mean, this happens to like when people are like, "I loved your review of this movie." I'm like, I don't even remember watching that movie.
Remember what we said.
Yeah, how did I have an opinion about this movie at one point in my life?
Sometimes I'll tell a story on the podcast, and after the episode comes out, my wonderful, lovely fiance will be like, "Hey, that story you told, that's not how it happened." And I was like, "You can't believe anything I say when I'm cooking like that. That's just I'm not I'm not responsible for what comes out."
Like,
oh no, the mouse is moving,
baby.
Yeah, brain is catching up. That's just how it goes. At any given moment, yeah, it's hard to know what's going to come out of my mouth during the podcast.
We'll do it on video, and sometimes I'll see Soren like taking a sip of water, and I'm like, "Oh boy, now I've got to say something because he can't." All right, I wonder what this is going to be.
Just gotta fill the void, man. Well, speaking of, I don't know, filling voids. Sure. Yeah. Fuck it. We have some patron producers that we have to thank at the top of this, and then at the middle of this, and then at the end of this. And these are our wonderful supporters through Patreon. Big thank you to @NerdNumbers. Thank you very much. Thank you to Zero Charisma.
Thank you.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew. Dan deserves more hype. McGuire.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you to Andrew. How can make me say anything? Poopy. He's mad with power. It's true. He's
got us.
Thank you to Asking Seven.
Thank you.
Thank you to Bob Grenville.
All right, let me jump in here. Thank you to Bootler Bootlesson.
Thank you.
Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you to Brockway, loves the meat millie.
Thank
you to Burrito, wants you to drink water, hit the gym, and do the ska, because they loves y'all.
Absolutely.
Thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank you.
Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparts, Esquire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dan Hackroyd.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And thank you to David Knife Boot Hinson.
Knife Boot.
Is that the real Robert Brockway?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I believe they also are a patron of hot dog.
Yeah.
I see.
They're hot doggers.
They're a dual, yeah. Hot doggers.
I was excited to see his name for a second because it reminded me of right after we all lost our jobs at Cracked, and it seemed like all of these out of work comedy writers were just trading the same $5 on Patreon, just everyone supporting each other and just passing $5 back and forth.
Oh yeah. Just those were good times. Should we talk about trailers?
I would
probably
love to.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that.
All right. Dan, you just shared this because it just dropped.
Yes.
We covered the teaser for this. This is the new trailer, the first actual trailer, right? For Beetlejuice.
Yeah. I like many of us have so much love in my heart for the original Beetlejuice. I've seen it a million times. I love Michael Keaton so much that like my whole family, Michael Keaton is one of those actors for some reason that my family formed like some weird parasocial attachment to. It might have just been like the 1-2 punch of Beetlejuice and Batman in the 90s that like there would be stretches where Michael Keaton didn't work and my family and our group checks would just be like, what's Michael Keaton doing? Is he okay?
Yeah.
Is he? And someone else would immediately chime in. Like, he is writing and directing and starring in a movie called the Merry Gentleman, where he plays a hitman. And we're like, good. Okay. As long as he's healthy and he's doing great, the O'Briens are happy.
He is awesome, isn't he? Like,
rules.
I think I take him for granted. I feel like I don't think about Michael Keaton, and now that you bring it up, I probably should more, because I've always enjoyed basically everything he's in. Every time he shows up,
I've watched Multiplicity so many times. It's like a far off dream of mine to write a musical adaptation of Multiplicity.
I know you've been talking about that for a while.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
How excited are you?
I need to revisit Multiplicity. I haven't seen it since the 90s, but I used to watch it a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
All that said, what do you guys think of this? What are your thoughts?
I cautious optimism. I mean, there's it doesn't need to exist. It worries me. It just seems like it's another. I don't think anyone had wanted to do a sequel because they had more story to tell. I think it's just like, clearly we're in this cycle where reboots and IP is the only thing that gets made. And I'm sure if you dangle a lot of money in front of Tim Burton and Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder, and you're just like, are you sure you don't want to do another Beetlejuice movie? I bet they will come up with some.
You don't have one more in you.
Yeah, they'll figure something out. I
laughed out loud at this trailer. For a movie I still don't completely know what it's about, other than the patriarch from the first one dies, and that seems to be the inciting incident for this movie. The quote I wrote down was Winona Ryder as Lydia talking to Jenna Ortega's character, said, "When I was a teenager, a trickster demon terrorized our entire family and tried to force me to marry him." And I laughed, but I also thought, don't explain what the first Beetlejuice was about.
Yeah,
then it's going to sound dumb.
It seems to be that it's Lydia's daughter invokes, like, calls Beetlejuice, who I assume is going to, like, I don't know, try to fucking marry her or something. I'm a little worried only because it is very exciting to see, like, Michael Keaton back, but there wasn't a single thing in this trailer that I didn't recognize from the original.
Right.
Like, it's like, oh, they're doing the chalk outlines. Oh, there's the sandworm. Oh, there's the waiting room.
Yeah,
he does the face. Yep, he does the face thing. And it's like, I'm kind of bummed out. It kind of reminds me of the new Ghostbusters. Not the Frozen Empire, which I actually watched. And one thing I'll say about that movie is it tries to do more stuff. Although even that one, if you remember, they're like, here are the lions. Yeah. Here's the librarian.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know, why can't we, like, add more? Isn't the point of a sequel to extend something, not just to repeat the first movie? So I'm a little worried, only because it just feels kind of stagnated.
Yeah. That Ghostbusters Afterlife, when they had the little marshmallow creatures, I was like, why? What?
Right.
You're only doing that because it reminds me of the thing I saw before, but they're like, even in a movie where ghosts are real and terrorize people and you could trap them in little boxes, this still strains credulity. I don't buy the offer that these little marshmallow creatures would show up here as a side effect of ghosts coming back to this small town.
Right, because if you recall, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was created by Ray's imagination. Right? There was a motivation for it. It didn't just say, like, hey, remember these guys? They're back. They're just popping out.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that movie made some sort of justification, but I don't recall.
No,
one.
They just come to life while Paul Rudd's in the store, as far as I remember.
Right. And they're all over the new one, too. And it's like, I don't know. It's just weird that there's this need to, like, just constantly repeat stuff. And this one, I'm trying to think, like, was there anything in this trailer that wasn't from the original Beetlejuice? And again, like, I'm kind of charmed by it because I like the original Beetlejuice. So seeing Michael Keaton be Beetlejuice is delightful.
Of course. I'm gonna go into it with again, total optimism, but, like, it's a strange thing to do because I don't think anyone could have predicted that the original Beetlejuice was going to be as beloved as it ended up being. There's no
Right.
like very clear reason for its existence. There was nothing else like it. There was nothing like it afterwards either. It was this very, very specific thing that worked, and we all loved. It was this lightning in a bottle thing. And now that they've had 20 years to think about Beetlejuice and try to figure out why it worked and apply that, whatever their conclusion is, apply it to Beetlejuice. I don't want that. I don't want a Beetlejuice movie that's influenced by Beetlejuice, because the first one was so perfectly its own thing.
Right. Yeah, there's this pattern of, when you think about things that were created in the 80s, like Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles and Beetlejuice, where there are these like kind of admittedly half-assed ideas made by just kind of schmoes. Like, the first Ninja Turtles were created while stoned in a bar, and like Ghostbusters is just sort of a vehicle for four guys to be funny.
Yeah.
And then cut to like 10 years later, and they're like, okay, I guess we're making an animated series of this with a huge lore, and like it's really beloved. And I feel like a lot like they weren't prepared for any of that, right?
Yeah.
That was never why these things were created.
It's also, you got like 25 or I guess like 40 years, whatever it is at this point, for Dan Aykroyd to just marinate in his own insanity and get crazier and crazier. And like Ghostbusters was a fun vehicle for comedians. Now it's like, no. Ghoster, I fucked a ghost in New Orleans once. This is a real thing. I sell like homemade vodka out of a Martian skull or something. I'm nuts.
Yeah.
And I take Ghostbusters very seriously now.
It's distilled with ghosts.
Yeah. It's a shame the new Ghostbusters, they bring back so many ghosts, they don't bring back the blowjob ghost.
No.
They have yet to bring back the blowjob
Yeah.
Well,
ghost.
it finished its unfinished business.
That's true.
Can I ask, maybe spoiler warning for your audience, because I didn't watch the new Ghostbusters yet, but do they bring back Rick Moranis?
No, I don't think Rick. I think Rick Moranis is closed for business. I don't think anything can bring him back. Yeah. It is better. I thought better than the Ghostbusters before it. It's still its main problem is it just has like 16 people in it.
Yeah.
They're trying to balance so many people, and it's like, what are we doing? But like everybody's kind of fun in it. Like it's, I don't know. I watched it on mushrooms on a plane, so I'm a little biased.
Excellent.
But like, yeah, it was fun.
Rachel Bloom, who was a friend of ours and did some cracked videos with us back in the day, pitched one of her songs that she ultimately abandoned, and I don't know why, but the song was called "Come Back to Acting," Rick Moranis, and it was like a wonderful like gospel song that was mostly just the repeated chorus of "Come Back to Acting," Rick Moranis, and I loved the raw track that she did, and she just talked herself out of like actually making it into something, because she was like, it's really, there's no reason for this video to exist. I like Rick Moranis. I want him to come back to acting. And I was like, no, that's clear. That comes across in the tune.
I would say there is a reason then to get Rick Moranis to come back to acting.
We'll never know.
Yeah. Should we talk about this next trailer?
Yeah.
I feel like we strayed from Beetlejuice, but this is the full trailer. Also something we covered the teaser of for Megalopolis, the Francis Ford Coppola fever dream that is getting some very fun reviews. I am so fucking excited for whatever this is.
I will say, full disclosure, when I saw that this trailer was on the agenda, I went into this, I'm very reliant on you guys to tell me what this movie is about. I don't know anything about it other than like it's very expensive. It was a lot of Coppola's own money that went into this. It seemed like a troubled production. I've heard like headlines about bad behavior on set, and I've no one was like buying the movie. There was no studio that was going to release it, was the other headline that I read. And now it seems like it's going to be seen by people. It's at one of the festivals now. I've watched this trailer a few times. I don't I have no idea what's going on, and I'm assuming one of you read something about it and can tell me anything close to a plot.
It's about an architect redesigning a city after like a disaster. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
I think Adam Driver is the architect.
Yeah. And he seems to have some sort of like time stopping device or maybe that's just a computer program. I don't know. That's basically I have nothing to add to what Dave said. I don't know why I started talking.
It's really funny because the rumors were like, no studio wants to touch this. And I remember reacting like, of course, studios, they only like fucking remakes and reboots and whatever. And then the reviews are in and people are like, no, it's really fucking weird, you guys. So like, I think the studio saw this and they were like, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to sell it. Someone finally is distributing it. And then critics are like, yes, we also don't know what this is.
It's so rare for people to watch a movie and then be like, oh, I agree with the studios on this one. This is the studios were right to pass on.
I mean, it still should be. I watched one of Coppola's later things, Twixt, and that's a very weird movie. Like, he's gotten real fucking weird after Jack. He just went completely in a different direction, and I love that. I'm glad. I mean, I'm so glad this is going to come out, even if I watch it and go like, well, that was a big piece of shit. Yeah. It's just... I like that it's one man's vision, be it an incredibly bizarre vision of I don't even know what. This trailer did not help.
No, it's almost always going to be exciting to me when someone makes something incredibly weird and singular, especially in the kind of movie landscape that we're in right now. So I'm always appreciative of bold swings where this is just like, you've never seen this before. It's me, Francis Ford Coppola. You know I'm a good director, or at least used to be. And I can't describe this movie. It is just a thing that was in my head. And now you have to... Now I'm spreading my sickness to you. I think that's cool. I think it's cooler than endless reboots. But that's what I say on like at the idea stage on a conceptual level. An unenjoyable movie is an unenjoyable movie. And I'm worried that that's what this is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like weird, so I'll probably enjoy it. It reminds me of something like Cloud Atlas, where it's like, this is such a wild swing.
Yeah.
And like, does it all work? No, but like, I'm so glad it exists.
Yeah.
Southland Tales, where it's like, I'm so glad movies like this exist.
Fascinated by Southland Tales. I have that like that meaty 3-disc edition they put out.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't
Coppola
like that
doing
movie. I'm fascinated by it. Okay, continue.
But that's art, you know? And I love seeing something this big, because those movies tend to be these like huge budget art house films.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I can't believe they got this much money to make this film. And this is my vibe of this too. I'm hoping it's a secret prequel to the Schumacher Gotham. Like,
oh yeah,
like it doesn't it kind of look like they're making Gotham in the Schumacher films?
Yeah, with all those giant statues, all those giant people statues, those hot statues all over the city.
just real fuckable statues, as far as the eye can see.
Yeah. No, there's like clouds forming arms.
So I'm just thinking about the mayor like earmarking a certain amount of the budget each year for fuckable statues.
Yeah.
Real sexy ones. Anyway.
Yeah,
he's like, this is just like ancient Greece. Someone's like, not really.
Is it?
Oh man. God damn. I don't know. When is this coming out? Do we know?
Unclear. I know it's picking up distributors at film festivals right now, like at Cannes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think a release date has been set yet. It just says 2024.
I feel like we shouldn't talk about this again until we've watched it.
I think so. I think that's fair.
I kind of don't want to know anymore. Like, it's one of those where I'm like, I've seen enough. Like, I'm going to see this.
Yeah.
I was going to see it before there was even a trailer, where it's like just hearing about it is enough.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm so excited. This is one of the things I'm most excited for, and I have no idea if I'm going to like it or not.
Excellent.
Yeah. Our next trailer is for Dune Prophecy. This is HBO Max is making some kind of a Dune spin-off.
This is HBO hunting for another Game of Thrones.
I know. And yeah, did you guys like Dune? Did you like those humorless sister cult witches? that are always quietly standing in the background talking about prophecies. That
lurking.
was everyone's favorite part of Dune, right? Not the hero story, not the giant fucking worms, not Austin Butler making an incredible decision. We all like those like very nervous, scheming sister witches or whatever they were.
Yep. Now here's a whole show about them. Yeah, Dune, in my mind, Dune is one of those things that I'm like, I can't believe it works. And I think whether it be the David Lynch Dune or these new ones, they're all kind of closely tied to a very specific filmmaker's vision. I don't think people want to like exist in the world that much. Like they're very slow movies. They're very I don't want to say boring because I really enjoy them and they're not boring. But I just don't know how much you can make this like Star Wars, how much you can expand this universe and make like a series. I don't know.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you. I mean, I liked the second Dune a whole lot. Didn't love the first one. And the next thing I'm going to see, if I'm ever going to see another Dune thing, it's going to be because butcher name alert, Denis Villeneuve. It's because of his attachment to it. And in fact, I'm more likely to see
Villeneuve, I believe.
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve.
I put all of my chips in the, you thought I was going to say Dennis basket, that I didn't get any of the rest of his name correctly. But I like him, and I want to see more from him, more than I want to see more of Dune. I'm actually excited for whatever his next non-Dune thing is. That's going to get me in a theater somewhere.
Right. It's also weird because he is making another Dune. He's making a bunch of things. It also feels weird because there's like this ongoing Dune story, and it's like they're jumping the gun, right? Like you think about, like imagine if Lord of the Rings, they made like the Two Towers, and then they're like, and also watch this TV show about this like characters on the side. It's like you haven't finished the trilogy.
Yeah.
Like they haven't finished the main story. You haven't given me a reason to want to watch spin-offs. I'm still watching like the main thing.
Yeah.
And it feels like the machine that is churning out the spin-offs is going so fast that it's going faster than the thing that it's spinning off.
My biggest takeaway
from
seeing this trailer was, when did they make this? It looks so expensive and it looks so polished and like squarely in the world that was created for the first two Dune movies. And I'm sure at some point I heard it was announced that they were making this, but they were like so much farther along than I thought they were.
It's like they were shooting Dune 2 and they were like, can we get on this? Yeah. Can we get in on that set real quick? Between your takes, can we quickly get some shots in? I mean, I don't know, man.
Listen,
Tom, you love Dune.
I do. I love me some Dune. And I frequently referred to it as Game of Thrones in space when we talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of does. This kind of does interest me. I like that big dumb universe. It's so serious and weird. I'll probably watch at least a few episodes.
It could be very good, for the record.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I really liked Rings of Power, and I didn't think I was gonna like that because I was like, this feels like too much. And then watching it was very good. So
I might not be the audience for Dune Prophecy because my feelings with the movies were the reason I had a hard time with the first one is that no one in that movie seemed to be having fun, which is like a very childish way to watch movies. I don't just need to see like actors cracking up or anything, but like Brolin was having fun, Jason Momoa was having fun, and then they both disappear at the end of that movie. And like serious Timothée Chalamet is not fun to look at, really, and like everyone taking everything so seriously is just not interesting to me because I'm a dummy. And then in the second one, there was a lot more people having more fun, and like Javier Bardem was having a blast. There were jokes in it, and the fact that the spinoff is focusing on the most humorless collection of people in the Dune universe does not bode well for me. I would watch a prequel series that was just about the entire Harkonnen family getting fat and weird and crazy and just doing their college years of that weird family, and instead of the like political / religious cult that is always moving around in the background. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just
you're right.
I'm just a dummy.
You're right though. Like I felt the same way. Where Dune 1 was very well made, but it was very slow. And then Dune 2, I was like, there we fucking go.
Yeah.
And it was like part of me felt like Dune 1 could have just been the first 30 minutes of Dune 2. But the thing that made my eyes glaze over the most was this stuff.
Yeah.
Like the prophecy stuff.
That
the
is
weird
extremely fair.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know how they're gonna maintain a show about.
It's I don't want to say it's always the least interesting part of a fantasy story, but in my opinion, it frequently is.
Yeah. It's like making a TV show based on like that Jedi library.
Yeah.
In the prequels.
Dude, I would watch that.
Jedi librarian.
Ghostwriter in the Jedi
good.
Library.
I'm sure that's on a whiteboard in Disney's headquarters somewhere.
Yeah. How many seasons can we get out of that? More than you'd think.
A startling amount, really.
All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep the hype train going. Never Let Go. This is like one of 6 films called this or some variation of this. This one is Halle Berry. It's a Bird Box.
It's another Bird Box. Yeah.
This time the arbitrary rule is that you have to hold on to a rope that takes you out into the woods.
Every time you leave the house, you have to be attached to a rope. And
boy, I wonder if someone's going to let go of the rope.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a boring movie if it was just people holding on to the rope. This one looks like it's kind of it looks kind of freaky, but boy, they're churning these out. There's so many of them.
There are a lot of these. We just covered one, Arcadian.
Yeah. They're so cheap to make. That's why they're like, we need a woods and a cabin and some rope. And then we have our film.
Spend all of our money on Halle Berry. Great.
Yep.
Now, what is this movie?
Yeah. And I don't know if I don't know if I have another in me. That's all. It doesn't even matter.
It seems like the rules keep getting sillier.
Yeah.
Or I mean, not keep getting sillier, but like this to me, this is a silly extension of the sort of like. There's nothing wrong with like A Quiet Place. Oh, you can't make a noise, or you can't be out after dark, or you can't look at them. Like the Bird Box was a very extremely okay movie. But that's a neat idea to me, that it's a monster you can't actually look at. But this is really stretching it. It's not that bad actually. It feels like a fairy tale. So maybe it leans into that idea some, because they are like traipsing around through the woods, and they do introduce an interesting idea partway through the trailer that maybe Halle Berry is lying to the 2 kids. Maybe there is no apocalypse.
Right.
I mean, that's the game you play. That's the kind of one of the create in that movie. Yeah. I do want to pitch my own one of these movies, since they're just giving them out to people, and I want to have like monsters take over, but the only rule is you cannot fall in love with the monsters. And so people think it's it's like, oh, that should be easy to avoid.
Yeah.
But then obviously the monsters are super hot. It's not all like ironed out just yet, but
first time you see one, it comes in on a skateboard.
Yeah.
Like,
you're like, damn, that monster's hot.
Fuck, that monster's cool.
My pitch for one is floor is lava.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Floor is lava. That's what I call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just monsters that get you if you touch the floor. Fuck it.
Perfect idea. Perfect
Yeah.
idea.
Or like you have to hop on one foot or something. I don't know.
No. That makes as much sense as Hold On to the Rope, the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in this, the monsters appear to be like demons, or they don't seem like they have physical form as much.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of intrigued me. And like the most optimistic view of this movie is that the marketing is advertising it as a Bird Box, and the rope shit is actually very little of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the most generous I can be about it. But my God, I don't know. They need I need to see some diminishing returns on these, but I don't think they're going to have them because they're so cheap to make.
Right. I mean, the rope would need to be a small part of the movie, because otherwise the movie greatly overestimates the amount of tension that they can wring out of someone dropping a rope on the ground, because
Yeah.
that'll get me once.
Right.
I'll be like, oh no, they dropped the rope. That's gonna work one time on me.
How
Yeah.
many times can we have a scene where like, oh, I bet he's gonna drop the rope?
Yeah.
Oh man, I had a thought and I lost it. Forget I said anything.
That's fair. That's fair.
It was
That's,
related to this rope movie. Oh
I
right,
don't know.
the director Alexander Aja is I like some of his stuff. Like his Hills Have Eyes remake was okay, and shoot, he had one before that. High Tension.
Piranha.
High Tension.
Oh, hi, Chen.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Piranha 3D I enjoyed. I thought that was funny. But he's got a diminishing. He's very hit or miss for me. Like about half of his other movies, like Crawl is just fine. Mirrors is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's had some not so great ones recently, so this could kind of go either way with him.
Yeah.
He typically makes very gory movies, though. I will say that.
Yeah. I you know me with him. I think it's all been misses for me. I think his stories are always very silly. They're always like characters being very stupid, or they're just like High Tension is of course famously kind of a cheat. The
Yeah, that's
plot
true.
twist on that.
That's true.
And so like they've always made movies where like the plots don't really add up to me, and they never. So like that's part of it for me. I'm like I bet this is gonna be stupid or something.
I think
bet
High
I'm gonna hate this.
I think High Tension got away with a lot of it for being as shocking as it was, because that's pretty
Right.
extreme the first time you watch it.
I
Oh
have
yeah,
not seen this movie.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
nuts.
it's nuts. It's also I would argue nonsense.
It
but
was.
It is.
I think it was one of the bigger things plot holes we pointed out on Cracked. I
Oh,
think.
really?
I think so. I forget who
Yeah.
did it. I forget who did it. But
Also, I have a question. This is such a weird. Did Teen Kuntz's Intensity come before or after High Tension?
I have no idea.
Absolutely
Okay,
no
because
idea.
they are very similar movies with very similar
It's an
names.
incredible question to ask, Dave.
Yeah. So I was staying at a hostel in Canada, and I had an afternoon to myself. I need to set this up to explain why I would pick up Dean Kuntz's Intensity.
Mhm.
And that was 1997 is Intensity. And I read like the first part of Intensity. So in fairness, maybe it's not completely like it, but it was very similar. That's
It's-
all.
the fact that you brought that question up for a book you have not read fully is a Hall of Fame podcast move, I think.
It's probably like one of the worst things that's come out of my mouth. I just remember it's very similar. They're very similar. I mean, people who maybe perhaps have read the actual book and not just skimmed it in a hostel, let me know if I'm right or if I am being absolutely infuriating right now. Go ahead and sound off on that.
Dean Koontz, we know you're listening.
Yeah.
Let
Come
us
on,
know.
Dean.
Fan of the pod.
All right. Next trailer?
Yeah, I
Next
think
trailer?
so. I think so.
Longing. This is fucking Richard Gere. I was like, oh shit.
I know he's back.
He's back.
Where has he been?
He could have been retired as far as I knew. He's just not been popping up, and I thought he was like enjoying not being an actor anymore. He seems like the kind of person, he's got that clout that he could work whenever he wanted. It seemed like he could just call his agent and say, I would like to be in a movie again, and the offers would just come rolling in. So that was my assumption, and that assumption takes me to the belief that if he's in a movie, it's got to be something pretty special.
Yeah.
But I don't know about this trailer, folks.
Yeah, so
Oh, I kind of like this. I like that
Well-
it's like a 90s thriller.
spoilers, he's been in a lot. I
Has
just
he
looked
really?
him up. Yeah, he's just not doing like things that are on the map, you know. We've talked about this before where like if a lot of these 90s actors, if they don't want to do like a Marvel film, a lot of like if they want to do like 90s thrillers, they have to do like indie stuff now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame. But yeah, this I think this should be sexier. It felt like a thriller, but it didn't feel sexy
It needs
enough.
to be at least 30% sexier.
Yeah, just a little more sexy.
It's so much exposition in this trailer. Get Richard Gere, who and like that, I was tricked several times in watching this trailer, because as soon as I see Richard Gere, I'm like, oh, this will be romantic. And the trailer opens with him reconnecting with an old flame who was like, oh, it's been, how long has it been? He's got that Richard Gere smirk. It's like, this is gonna be one of those old people fuck two movies, isn't it? Great, I'm here for it.
Right.
Let's Knights and Rodanthe this.
Yeah.
So that's what that was about. And then the
Return
woman is
to
like,
fucking.
I have a child. I had a child with you. I never told you about the child. The child is dead. Come to my town, I guess. And Richard Gere meets the kid's friends and asks questions about the kid and goes to the funeral. And then there's a mystery about the kid's death that he is going to investigate or get to the bottom of. And the kid had a teacher that the kid was obsessed with, or maybe the teacher was obsessed with the kid, and maybe they had a romantic relationship. And there's just so much information in this trailer. There's so much going on that I almost forgot to be confused when I saw a scene with a very emotional Richard Gere saying he was a good child. This kid that he's literally never met and just found out about.
Right, he's
He
really
was a
taking
beautiful
this kid's side.
boy. Like
Yeah,
he played
that's
the
it.
piano.
This is a remake
Oh.
Yeah.
of a film that the writer director also made. So it's the same writer director as the original, doing like the American version. I think the surprise twist will be that this is just a drama. I don't think this is a sexy thriller the way I'm hoping it is. I think it just might be a drama about this guy returning home.
Yeah.
And meeting this old flame. And I think the trailer, they're trying to kind of dress it up a little more, because I couldn't tell. Also, I got confused where I was like, I kept waiting for like the thing to happen in the trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, when's like the murder, or when's the like, oh, he wasn't.
It's already happened. I
Or like the reveal that he was murdered or something. I thought there was gonna be something in the trailer like the fucking the oh shit moment. And
I need a scene in this movie like 35 minutes in where he's talking to the teacher. The teacher's like, he asked me to see his band. He asked me to kiss him, and I didn't. Maybe I did. There's more going on in this story. There's a lot going on. There was suspicion. This person did this. And I want Richard Gere to be like, you know what? I don't actually have a dog in this fucking fight. This is a lot to deal with. I
didn't actually know this kid.
I had sex with this kid's mom 25 years ago. I'm going to go back to Newport or wherever I'm from.
Yeah.
Clearly someone murdered my son, but like, is he my son? I don't really care that much.
I like this kind of mystery. It's trashy. It's like an airport novel, but this speaks to me.
I'm just scared because it's listed on IMDb as comedy drama.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What a
so
twist.
that's what I mean. Is
He
like
was a good child.
I'm like kind of confused as to whether or not this is in fact a thriller. Like I kept looking for the thriller of it.
Yeah, maybe I'm misreading it, I guess.
I know, but I got that vibe too. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm really scared.
I'm scared.
I'm gonna have to see it for sure.
What the hell was this called again?
The Longing, which is another one of those ones where I'm like, what a weird title.
Yeah, that's not very sticky. That's not what I'm gonna call this movie when I text you guys about it later.
Yeah,
might as well call it Compromise.
Yeah.
This next one, Didi.
Looks great.
It looks really good.
Awesome, but also this was a blow. This is a coming of age movie that takes place in 2008.
Yeah.
Yes, that really bummed me out.
A devastating
once I
blow.
realized that, once I heard like the AOL IM sound and was like, wait a fucking second.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, this is like a kid in the 90s, right? Right?
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That's very unacceptable.
Yeah. That's brutal. That's the year I published the first article on Cracked that I wrote.
Oh,
It was
man.
2008.
And this kid was 13 years old.
Sweet.
And it seems to be about like the writer director. I assume it's autobiographical, or at least it's getting those vibes. I love that he's kind of like a shit. Like I like that he's like just a shitty teenager that sucks.
Yeah, because that's what you are at that age.
Yeah, exactly.
You are a shitty
gives me,
teenager who sucks.
Yeah. I really like I don't know. I like what is that movie? Eighth Grade.
Yeah.
It gives me eighth grade vibes. You know, where it's like how teenagers like just kind of suck.
Yeah.
And are awkward.
They're not
It's
really
like-
interesting.
Are annoying.
Just the most brutal time of your entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I think it looks awesome. I agree about like 2008 is also and that's when I got hired at Cracked and moved to Los Angeles. So this is a coming of age story that takes place while I'm already on my decline. Like I'm already past my peak.
I'm on the back half.
Came of age. Now you're going of age. Yeah. That is such a bummer. It
Now
shouldn't
I'm
be allowed.
becoming age.
Yeah. They shouldn't do this to us.
No, this shouldn't be allowed. Shouldn't be allowed.
No.
Coming of age movies can't take place after 1995.
No.
Yeah.
That's it.
Can't stress enough though that this is probably going to be like nominated. Like this is like probably going to be a big deal, a big emotional drama comedy that people are going to be talking about, right? Like
Yeah, I don't
it's
know
at
nominations.
Sundance right now.
I don't know nominations or anything, but this was actually my early pick for a movie that will probably get slept on this year because I'm not hearing
okay.
too much about it, and I think it looks awesome. And it seems like one of those movies that like, and it's coming out at this time of year, which is a strange time for a small indie style movie like that. I feel like it's gonna be
Right.
one of those things that pops up on a lot of end of year best movie lists that many people will have not heard of.
Yeah, I compare that to when films are nominated and you're like, I didn't even hear of that film. Like, how did that get nominated? Like, it definitely, I can see that. Mainly because it's not like, it's just a coming of age comedy.
Yeah.
Like those tend to kind of pass people by, so I could see that.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of comedies, Thelma.
Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
had we
June
not
Squibb.
covered Thelma before? I
I don't
because I've
think
seen this
so.
trailer before. Or maybe
Oh, you
not. I
have?
hadn't seen this trailer before, but I'd seen a trailer for Thelma.
Right. June Squibb, what was like the big thing for her?
Yeah, the trailer boasts Academy Award nominee June Squibb.
I couldn't remember. Like, I remember her becoming like being a thing, like for like a year. And don't get me wrong, she's been in plenty of things. She
was in Hubie Halloween.
She sure
Yeah.
is.
I think it's About Schmidt. I think About Schmidt might be it. She was in fucking
Oh,
Nebraska.
that would make sense because I've not seen either of those films.
Was she?
You haven't seen Nebraska?
Nope.
Ooh, so that's real good.
Was she? This is a brutal question. Was she ever not old? Is there a movie like a time for her that was like, oh yeah, she was a middle-aged or a 20-something actor?
Her first film was in the 90s.
Wow.
Alice. Yeah, so I think for the most part, though, yes, she's always been known for being old.
Man.
I think that's her thing. But she was in things before that. I just think she blew up when she was old.
Yeah.
This is about a 90-year-old woman who gets a phone scam against her and sets out for revenge
Yeah.
with another old person and gets a gun. And it looks like it's gonna get violent.
Hell yeah!
She's with Richard Roundtree.
All I could think of was the Santa Claus sketch from I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I hope this is really violent. I hope they had to do the thing in Kill Bill where they cut to black and white to avoid an NC-17.
Yeah.
I hope it's shockingly violent.
I would
Probably
like that too.
isn't.
Because it's the kernel of the idea for this movie is something that almost everyone I know has thought about, because we're all living through these pig butchering scams. Almost everyone I know knows an older relative or family friend that fell for one of these. My mom's former secretary gave all of her money to one of these scammers, and it's like that's almost always every victim is like some trusting grandma style woman,
Specifically prey on the elderly.
yeah. And like, this is, once you stop feeling bad about the real person involved, then your brain starts going like, I wonder if this could be a movie. I wonder if this could be a story. And I really hope that this person, the one who made Thelma, takes it to its logical conclusion and she hunts them down and kills them. I'm with David. I want this to be violent and painful. And I don't want like an emotional moment where she is like, you prey on elderly people and that's bad. And I wouldn't change a thing because the reason I fell for this is because I love too much and I'm too trusting. And you know what? In fact, you're the victim. I don't want any of that shit. I want torture the person who did it.
Yeah, I want her to blow up a skyscraper. I want just maximum
jumping
violence.
off a skyscraper with a fire hose tied around her waist.
I mean, if just realistically, so we covered this on the show that I write for. I'm not actually knowledgeable. It just is very top of mind for me. These scams are in some cases like actually done by scammers who want your money. In a lot of cases, these are people on the other end of the phones have been kidnapped and forced to do these scams. They live in call centers with no contact with the outside world, and they're just like beaten and tortured if they don't make a certain amount of calls every day. They're just like always scamming people with these catfishing fake like AI voice tricks, whatever the pig butchering scams are done. So it's not always just like a bad guy on the other end. There's a room full of kidnapped people who are forced to do this. I would love for the movie to explore that, to have her looking for like one bad guy and then finding, oh no, there's a warehouse in China where people have been kidnapped and forced to do this. I can't take down one guy. I have to take down this whole operation. And then it's Thelma versus the Chinese mafia. That would be lots of fun.
That would be lots of fun. Just with her scooter and her gun, just taking dudes out.
And Richard Roundtree as Shaft. Fuck it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it matter? It's a multiverse now. We all know multiverses.
No, I'm all for that.
I don't want any of that introspection. I just want it to be the Santa Claus sketch. Fuck you. You fucking suck.
Yeah. No, because I think everybody, even the scams aside, have felt this like helplessness with dealing with just how we have to deal with things over phones and on the internet now. Yeah, where it's like I feel like every time I try to deal with an airline or a cable company, I'm a little more radicalized every time. And so like I think that frustration, and it's like I don't know. I want Thelma to fucking take them all down. All the way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
We should talk about Shrouds. Sorry, the Shrouds.
We should talk about the Shrouds. It's the
we almost
Cronenberg,
cut
Dave.
this just because. Yeah, it's just because this is like a 20-second trailer. We know we'd cover it later, but then Tom explained what it's about, and I'm gonna need
because
you to do that.
The trailer
again,
doesn't
Tom.
tell you anything.
Oh, sure. This is about a service that installs a live feed camera inside the casket of your loved ones, so you can watch them decompose in real time.
Made by David Cronenberg.
Because of course it is. And he said in an interview, it was inspired by the passing of his wife of 40 years who died of cancer a few years ago.
That's what makes it such an interesting twist and gut punch of a thing, because when you're just explaining the plot of the movie, my immediate thought is, who would actually want that? That's not a service that should exist. That's a really kooky thing. And then to hear Cronenberg had the idea after his wife passed away, it's like, oh, he definitely wants that. He 100%. That's who would want it. Oh, cool. All right.
He acknowledges that too in the interview that I read. I don't know if it was with Variety, but I read it on Variety. And he said, like, I recognize that. He was talking about, I kind of had to set it in a fantasy world or a heightened reality because I recognize that in real life, nobody would probably really want this service.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you could say that about everything Cronenberg makes movies about, right?
Oh,
nobody actually would want this.
Right. The other thing that we have to point out is that the lead in this movie is played by Vincent Cassel. And he is specifically playing David Cronenberg. The character's not named that, but he looks exactly like him with the same hair, and he's mimicking his accent.
Very clearly, yes.
Yeah, it's obviously playing David Cronenberg.
Yeah, he's perfect for a Cronenberg film. Has he been in one before?
He must
also,
have been.
Guy Pearce is in this. They both are weird little spiders.
He must have been in Eastern Promises as someone, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
That sounds right. Anytime
Cronenberg
comes up, I need to tell the only Cronenberg adjacent story, which is that I was really taken in by the trailers for A History of Violence. So I went to go see that movie opening weekend with my mom. And there's a scene where Maria Bello dresses like a cheerleader, and then her and Viggo Mortensen 69 for a while.
They sure
and I
do.
watched that movie with my mom. I was in high school. Don't recommend.
Oh, that's terrible.
There's some, I mean,
Oh.
like everyone's an adult, and we all kind of, it's an unspoken assumption that we all know what sex is. But then, like, now I know for sure that both my mom and I are aware of what a 69 is, which is not a standard rite
No.
of passage for anyone. A lot of people
And
go
you
their
each-
whole lives without thinking if their parents know what a 69 is. We can all quietly pretend they don't. Not me.
Yeah, and it's a fragile fantasy that we love, that we all deserve to live in.
In a lot of ways, you're free. You're free
know.
from that.
Now I don't have to worry that I'm going to accidentally bring it up and be the one that informs my parents what 69ing is, because it's all out in the open now.
Yeah,
Yeah, in a way, yeah, like
Yeah.
Dave said, you're kind of free from all morality now.
yeah. You are more animal than man
Yeah.
now. Oh man,
I cannot
That-
feel shame.
I think someone needs to make the Osbournes, but for the Cronenbergs,
Yeah.
because
Right, they're all yeah.
they're all making films.
Yeah.
There are 3 Cronenbergs out there making films, both
That's
of his kids.
Too many Cronenbergs.
Yeah, there's Humane just came out. That's from his daughter, and then of course Brandon Cronenberg, his son, has made several films. And I'm just imagining that house of them just spidering around in their own individual cocoons, just crawling on the ceilings and shit.
Yeah, they all sleep in
I-
the fly pods and
Yeah,
in this universe.
it's just wild that they're just churning these fucked up movies out. Cronenberg made a film like a year ago. It's just great. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
Crimes of the Future. I still haven't watched
Oh,
it.
that's right.
It's real Cronenberg.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I watched it. Imagine a Cronenberg film, and that's what it is.
Oh no.
Yeah. And that brings us to the main event.
Yeah.
The big film we're all here to talk about.
Yeah.
We could have made the whole podcast about this. My Penguin Friend.
Excellent.
Mm.
This
This is why movies exist.
Yeah. And in case
This
anyone hasn't
is-
seen the trailer, that is what it's about. It is what you want it to be about for the title, My Penguin Friend. It's a man with a penguin friend, and the penguin is adorable, and the man is Jean Reno.
Mm.
Yeah, it's Jean Reno. It's not just any man. And it's just him being friends with a penguin.
I feel like they would make $100 million if they just changed the title to Jean Reno's Penguin Friend.
Yes. It's just him, like, really disheveled, constantly petting and holding a penguin. Like,
It's-
I
well,
at
it's
first I was
like
like, is the reveal going to be that there's no penguin? That he's just lost his mind?
No, it's just like Fly Away Home with Jean Reno. But
Yeah.
like you said a second ago, how like picture a Cronenberg movie and that's what it is. Like picture a Jean Reno character and that's what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like maximum
Only he's
Jean Reno.
Holding a fucking penguin.
He looks like total shit. It's awesome. At one point, it looks like the penguin goes away, and he seems so sad. And
He's so sad.
I
He would be.
cannot wait. Of course.
Yeah. It's the penguin.
There's no heartbreak like losing a penguin friend.
Yeah. You know it's going to be heartbreaking, right? Like, some
Because
fucking seal's going to swoop up and eat this penguin.
to have your friendship rejected by a penguin, you
No.
did something fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I wronged that penguin.
Yeah. And it's apparently based on a true story of a guy who befriended a lost penguin, rescued him from an oil spill. The penguin went back into the ocean and then kept swimming like across the ocean to visit him every now and then.
Excellent.
I'm gonna cry my eyes out and
Yeah.
watch this
Yeah.
stupid
Gosh.
penguin.
The only thing that the trailer was missing that I hope is somewhere in the movie, I do want some like town official to knock on his door and be like, a man can't be friends with a penguin. I need just that extra level of tension.
Yeah.
That sort of like Andre Free Willy thing where
Yes.
society is mad about it. Even though they're, a man can be friends with a penguin. I want this town to have an ordinance. Just that
No penguins. The whole first act, like before he meets the penguin, is like you keep meeting the mayor, and the mayor's like, I sure hate penguins.
Yeah.
Oh man, there is an implication because like movies need to have things happen in them. There's like this implication that there's like a sad third act where the penguin like doesn't come one year, and like scientists are like, we need to capture this penguin to research how he like communicates or relates to humans or something. So I think there's going to be some evil penguin like scientists.
Hell
I hope so. Yeah, just the U.S. government comes in. And they're like, we're trying to figure out how the penguin knows how to get home, so we're going to cut up its fucking brain.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut up its brain and snort it.
Much like Thelma, I'm really hoping this ends in bloodshed.
Yeah, they just gotta ET it up a little bit. The government wants this penguin for some reason.
Yeah, and then he just goes full professional on them.
Absolutely.
Like, fuck it.
This is Gary Oldman a grenade pin for the penguin.
This movie's a gift. This is one of those movies where I'm like, how did this happen? I'm so glad it did, but how did the cards get, fall in place for this shit to happen? This is amazing.
Yeah.
Who brought this to him? And he said yes. Absolutely. That's what I want to make next.
In my mind, he was putting feelers out for a penguin project. He's like, I want to make a film with the penguin.
Yeah. His agent asking him, what's next? What do you want to do? He was like, I wish I could do one of those, like, just like a guy in his penguin movie. And they were like, what do you mean one of those movies? That's not a kind of movie that exists. Never mind. We're going to give it to you. We're going to figure out this specific genre you just invented.
Yeah, some writers like, I got to whip up a fucking penguin movie for this.
It's like, oh my God. And they've done it. We're all going to see it and cry.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. If this is an IMAX, guess who's going? I can't fucking wait.
I've never felt more excitement / anxiety than I did watching this trailer and knowing that I have to wait for my fiance to be done with work before I can send it to her. Because I don't want to distract her. I was like, oh man, I need you to see this. Holy.
Look at this penguin.
This little fucking penguin.
It looks like
penguin. It looks like they got a penguin for this.
Yeah.
Like that's like just a real penguin waddling around. They knew it wouldn't work unless you have a fucking penguin.
Yeah, they had to.
And they're right.
They had to find a penguin for me to have an emotional attachment to. So in 20 years, when I read that it dies, I can cry all over again.
Exactly. Shitty little bird. My goodness. I can't fucking wait. I hope the penguin was a real problem on set.
Yeah.
Like I hope everybody hated the penguin. Yeah. And it kept pecking everybody and everybody had to pretend like they loved this shitty penguin.
All the
was just squawking.
All the behind the scenes stuff is like the penguin was a real scumbag.
Yeah. Just eating
to
things on
smoking.
set. Chewing wires. Yeah, smoking cigarettes. My penguin friend Tom. We're covering this movie.
Yeah, we absolutely are. Are. Speaking of which, I think that's it for trailers.
That is. So let's thank some more producers, shall we?
Hell yeah.
Big old thank you to Deborah's awesome, Barbara's great, and Cancer Can Go to Hell. Thank you. Thank you to Dracula the bus driving vampire.
Toot toot.
Thank you to Driftless, God Emperor of Hype. Suggests everyone watch 1985's Return of the Living Dead.
Way ahead of you.
Can do. Thank you to Ed Nog.
Thank you.
Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you.
Thank you to Funky J. Mostly comes out at night. Mostly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls.
Thank you.
Thank you to Highlander likes the way Tom says pretty sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Highlander. Could be only one.
How do you say it? What's the sauce that you put on it?
I don't know. Pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet.
Thank
you to Hombre.
Thank you.
Thank you to ImpossibleWorlds.net, a magazine, and there's a podcast.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, let me jump in here. Thank you to Jay the Crow Baron says, build a guillotine in rich people's yard, 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chris Shanovich.
Thank
you to Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Police Squad.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you to Look Mime on a podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick. Chill.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mercurial Oz.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Helldiver.
Yes.
Thank you to Mongolian Throat Skanking.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. Tell Your Wife how many Patreon subscriptions you have before you agree to buy a house.
Thank you.
Thank you to musical guest Darius Rucker.
Thank you.
Thank you to No One Can Hear You Scream and Space McNulty.
Thank you.
All right.
Man, Willem Dafoe's baffling hog. That rules.
Yeah. It's too big.
I want to say that takes me back, but it just takes me back to the first time I learned about Willem Dafoe's hog. I don't have any other story for it. Just like
It's a good memory.
every once in a
Yeah,
while, you
it's
find
just-
out someone has a huge hog, and it's a real bummer. But Willem Dafoe, it's great. You love it
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Very huge. Like defies reason.
yeah.
Like, yeah. Some news. Netflix has announced Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah, that
Excellent.
makes sense.
We all knew this was going to happen at some point. Do you?
It's a shame they
I-
waited until after Carl Weathers passed to do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a shame. Although his character is in fact dead.
Oh,
isn't
that
His
is
character
true.
Did
That is true.
die in the original, but I'm
That's
sure they
true.
could have worked something out to like bring him back as a ghost or a dream sequence or
He's
something
playing
like
a
that.
piano in heaven, his hands
Yeah,
back.
Absolutely.
he? Yeah.
I'm so goddamn excited about this. I love and co-sign everything that Adam Sandler wants to do with his Netflix blank check.
Yeah.
My barber and I were talking about this movie yesterday because we're both like absolutely hyped for it. Neither of us really. I can't say I've been wandering around hoping that this movie got made, but now that it's getting made, I'm very excited for it.
Shooter McGavin's back.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
because I remember
yeah.
reading an interview with is it Christopher McDonald?
Yep.
Or Michael McDonald? Yeah, Christopher McDonald, who plays
Michael
iconic.
McDonald's.
I want that.
Yo,
Gold jacket, green jacket, ooh, hips. We're reading an interview with him years ago, and he was talking about how it was like a random roles thing. He's just like going through everything, and he was talking about feeling a little bit bad that Adam Sandler, makes so many movies, and he uses a lot of the same people over and over again, just like his good
Like his
buddies,
yeah.
obviously that don't act in anything except Adam Sandler movies, and he would always throw Rob Schneider something, and a couple other people were just like in his stable of talent, and McDonald really wanted to be part of that because he had such a fun time with Happy Gilmore, and Sandler said no. Sandler was like, you are Shooter McGavin. I can't write a thing for you because you're so iconically this part that it would be distracting or it just wouldn't like the audience wouldn't be into it. And McDonald's like, I'm an actor, I can do lots of things. Like, no, you're Shooter McGavin. In the Sandler verse, you're Shooter McGavin. I'm a water boy and a demon and an attorney or whatever else I am, but you are Shooter McGavin forever. So I like that he finally did get around to making another Shooter McGavin part for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
He apparently
he had
brought
Rob
it to him.
Schneider
like,
play that
yeah.
same Cajun guy
Yeah.
in a couple of
He
movies.
sure did.
He could have had Shooter McGavin,
Yeah.
like the character Shooter McGavin, show up in a
Right.
couple of movies.
Bobby Boucher can tackle Shooter McGavin.
Yeah, it seems ideal, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that alone is seeing Shooter come back is going
Yeah.
to be fun. I assume his grandma is long past.
Yeah, Richard Keel or Kyle Jaws is also passed.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
passed, and so did the guy who tried to run him over. The Shooter McGavin's like biggest fan,
Joe Flaherty.
sycophant. Yeah, he just
Yeah.
passed, didn't he?
Yeah. This is the dad on Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean-
if I forget that movie is just about 30 years old.
Yeah, man.
Jeez.
That's what I'm like very curious about is what is like a 60-year-old Happy Gilmore up to? That's a terrifying thought to me.
Yeah.
I
mean, you
I
can
hope
golf,
he's grown.
You can golf
hope
and
he's
stay
grown.
competitive for a while.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I just mean as a character. Like, is he still like really angry?
Right.
Has he grown? I want to know how Happy Gilmore has grown as a person. Like, I feel like this works for this. I hope they don't do Billy Madison, where Billy Madison, if you watch that movie, man, that is like he's like hallucinating. Like that he needs help.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Billy Madison
yeah.
is a
He's
nightmare. Yeah. And it's like I don't want to see a 6-year-old Billy Madison just being exactly the same, having to go back to college or something.
No, I really kind of do.
A movie that had just the most bare bones plot of maybe any Adam Sandler movie. I mean, like the central conceit of I need to repeat every grade in school so I could take over the family business. That is barely relevant. This movie is just a series of weird sketches.
Yeah, it's
Adam
barely a
Sandler and his
movie.
buddies.
Ah, fuck it. Yeah, bring them all back.
Yeah, shit, who cares? Who cares?
What's little Nicky up to?
Yeah, let's
Fuck
check it
it.
out.
Speaking of bringing things back, they're making a new I Know What You Did Last Summer with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar. Wait, no.
No, not
Sarah-
Sarah
not
Michelle
Sarah Michelle
Gellar.
Gellar.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Jennifer, yes, thank you. They all have the fucking 3 names or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious about what they're gonna do with this. Because like they made 2 with the original cast, and it was all based around the idea of perhaps knowing what someone did last summer.
Yeah.
But now it's like I know what you did 30 years ago.
Right. Let it
Oh,
go.
Yeah, Jesus.
Move
I guess they
on.
could bring back. It's probably like the grandson of the hitchhiker or whatever. Like
Yeah.
they'll do, or the fisherman.
Yeah. Or it'll be a new something. It'll be a new secret that they have to hide.
What if they do it again? What if they hit another
Hit
person?
another person.
They're like,
Like we gotta
fuck.
make sure he's dead this time.
Yeah. Ooh, I
Get
want
that
that.
rock.
Listen, hear me out. It's been 30 years. They didn't catch us. We are good at this. Let's just not mess with a good thing. Let's kill this guy and not talk about it.
Yeah. I always love like the screams as well, where they just keep bringing them back. Because I always think about Last Action Hero, where he talks about how his life is a living hell because nothing ever changes, and every year like something horrible happens.
Yeah.
It's got to be so much worse for these characters who just can't fucking get away from this.
Yeah.
And no one's allowing them to die either. They're just their whole life is just being chased by a guy with a hook.
Yeah. I
Seems nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
remember for some reason the reveal of the killer in the second one lives in my
Yeah.
brain forever.
It's very funny.
But like he hid his identity in plain sight because it was like, you couldn't see my name, Will Benson, Will, Ben's son, because I guess Ben was the name of the guy in the first one.
Ben
Right.
Willis. Yeah, it was Ben Willis.
Oh my fucking god.
Hell yeah. Make another one, man.
Yeah.
That's
And they're gonna.
art.
Did they do, because you said they made 2 with the original cast, did they did that branch off into like
They did another one.
Like,
I'll
sa-
always
Yeah, they
say
did like
what
one in
you
same
do
kind of-
best.
2006.
universe with different people though?
Ooh, yeah, it was.
I guess.
I didn't see it. It was different actors though. They may have been playing the same characters.
There was also a television series, which again, I'm like, this is like very one shot of as a premise. I really hope there's a character
as I
named like James Ben's grandson. Like that's the last name.
James Ben's
As
grandson.
yeah, and they just don't suspect him the whole fucking time for some reason.
I did want to say that this is based on a book by Lois Duncan, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
A notable author of young adult fiction. And as I understand it, the book is substantially different. And I think that's more of what the TV show was drawing from.
That's cool. That's actually cool if that
Yeah.
was what they were doing.
That was my understanding of the show, but I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And now it's canceled, like everything.
Yeah. It's hard. I really liked Scream. It was came out at just the right age. And then this came out and they're like, us too. And I'm like, nah.
Oh,
I'm
really?
good.
I was all in for Scream, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. I think we're both-
Same.
yeah.
But I did regard I Know What You Did Last Summer as inferior.
Yes.
I was obsessed with both of them, but I recognized that this one wasn't quite as good.
I only needed one franchise like that, I guess, the murder mystery slasher.
Yeah.
And so like when they started doing like urban legends and a bunch of them, I just this
Urban
like
Legends,
this just
oh
like
man.
yeah, this one just kind of faded into those, even though it is like you guys are saying, like a lot of people liked these as well. I mean, it launched a lot of careers.
Yeah, I mean,
so-
it created the scary movie universe as well, and we don't want to. Let's not.
That's true.
That's not nothing.
Yeah, that's not nothing. That's true.
Should we move on?
Yeah. Should we talk about OpenAI versus Scarlett Johansson?
Tell
Hey.
me what this is.
You don't?
No, I don't.
So okay, you tell it, Dave.
Okay. I mean, I hope I tell it correctly. OpenAI went to Scarlett Johansson. Who's the person who runs it?
Altman?
Sam Altman.
Mhm.
Contacted her and said, we'd like your voice for ChatGPT 4.0. And then she said no. for whatever reason, doesn't really matter. And then they released a voice called Sky that sounded exactly like fucking Scarlett Johansson. He even tweeted it out and said the word her, alluding to the Spike Jonze
movie where she played the AI.
Yeah. And she just basically was like, no, and sued them because of course she did. And it like really speaks to how like, I don't know, the tech people just think they can do anything.
Yeah.
Like, of course you're getting sued for that. Like you tweeted out her
Right.
and the voice after asking her and her saying no. That's as far as I know about it.
The company's statement on this is Sky is not an imitation of Scarlett Johansson, but belongs to a different professional actress using her own natural speaking voice. And, you know, two things can be true. That could be another actress's natural speaking voice, and they could have said, we need someone to do we need a Scarlett Johansson type.
Sounded
who
like.
will do this thing we want. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's honestly probably what happened, and they'll probably get away with it because when you put it that way, it's like, yeah, I guess that's not breaking any laws, right? Like, as long as they didn't like steal her voice,
right,
like from a movie or something.
Which is always the way that like all of these fucking tech ghouls all operate. Like you were just saying, where it's not breaking any rules, but like this is the pattern of things where they'll say, it's not breaking any laws, and then soon enough they'll start doing things that are breaking laws, and they'll be like, yeah, we're breaking laws,
right?
Well, that's because we want to. The laws are stupid.
They're being disruptive.
But if we can't steal all this stuff, then we can't make our program for free.
I think there's some confusion. The thing is, I want it, so you can understand.
Yeah. So
why having it matters to me. I asked
people were talking about
a hot popular actress for a thing, and she said no to me, and I don't understand that.
Yeah,
that's not what I wanted.
So I did it anyway.
I shouldn't be forced to accept that.
Yeah. People were talking about it being like kind of ironic for them to reference Her, but I don't think Her is really a movie about the dangers of AI from what I remember.
No, not at all.
It's actually, I remember it being one of the more like pro AI films.
Yeah.
It was about connection. I've been a while since I watched it, but I seem to remember that was more what it was about. And it definitely wasn't like, you definitely aren't angry with her.
No.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah, it's not
they
like
have an actual relationship and it ends.
Yeah.
And it does inspire him to like have better relationships with his sister and with other people in the actual world.
Right. Yeah, and so I guess in that sense it is like trying to say something about having a relationship with an AI as opposed to having relationship connections with real people in the world.
I don't think it's that deep. These bozos don't have any creativity. Like they.
No. The people referencing it, absolutely not.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They just
They're
reference because they know she voiced an AI.
Oh yeah, 100%. No. These people don't watch movies like that and think anything about them.
No. I remember when Her came out. I liked it a lot, and I read a review about it that says so much more about the reviewer. That they said this movie would have been better if they cast a voice actress for the AI that was someone that I didn't know how hot they were in real life, because it was easy for me to buy him falling in love with the AI because I can't. I know it's Scarlett Johansson saying the words, and I know how hot she is, and
those are my favorite reviews.
I hope that reviewer got fired for that.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite reviews, like the Harry Knowles Blade 2
review. I was so distracted by how horny I was getting thinking about Scarlett Johansson in my imagination that the movie is bad.
That's amazing.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say about it, really, because it also, I don't know, this was a big story, but it doesn't feel like anywhere near like more of the problems with these AI companies.
Yeah. Well, no, it's emblematic of it though. Like it's just the attitude of these companies and the fact that they're relying a lot on not getting any pushback, because the slightest bit of pushback they are like, okay, we're just playing, they crumble because they don't have a leg to stand on.
Right. No, you don't understand. The actual problem is that they're all woke, Tom.
Yeah.
And only Grok isn't woke. That's the AI. You got to use Grok because it's the only not work.
I am very happy that Scarlett Johansson is fighting back on this. I mean, it's tough and like eye rolly to champion a millionaire, powerful, famous white woman, but that's the person who can fight this. That's the person that we kind of need, a very high profile person to say, no, AI, it's not okay that you do this, and I'm going to sue you with all the money and time that I have, because OpenAI can steal like all of our voices. They could just do whatever. They are doing that somewhere. That's how those pig butchering scams get like sound-alikes of our voices. So it's good that she is using her power and money to make tech bros feel stupid and to hopefully lose in court. Very happy about that.
Yeah. You know what my least favorite fact about Scarlett Johansson is?
Married to Colin Jost.
Colin Jost.
So,
No, that's not my least favorite fact. My least favorite fact is we are the same age. I am the same age as Scarlett Johansson, and I'm just like, oh. I look like garbage, man. What's going on? I mean, I know why she looks better, but like, oh, I'm so tired.
But which one of you has more money?
Yeah. Which one of you
fair.
has $1 million trainers and nutritionists and skincare regimens?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. This stuff, it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really irritating, but I guess we just have to
live
with it.
Yeah, there's no...
Or we go June Squibb on their asses.
There's no silver lining there. There's no like positive end to that sentence. It's like, well, this is going to keep happening, and that will be our lives.
And that's the end of the sentence.
All right. Until it falls apart.
Yeah. So glad we're automating all the menial stuff like art and creativity, so that we can spend our waking hours
doing spreadsheet
doing
work. Yes.
spreadsheets and.
Let's thank some more producers.
Let's do it.
All right. Big thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Thank you.
The Norm from Cheers. Thank you to Pete Forpagel.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pneumono Ultramicroscopic Silicovolcanoconiosis Anti-Disestablishment Terrorism Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to # Thomas and the Bees.
Thomas J and the Bees.
Thomas J and the Bees. Sorry. Thank you to pre-order Jason Parker's new book so he can keep making big feats.
Thank you.
Absolutely. They get a Psychic Bigfoot.
Thank you.
They get a Rev MD.
Thank you so much.
They get a Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you.
Yuck.
They get a Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead.
Thanks.
They get a Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Can't do that to horses.
They get a Sorry Cop, World's Most Laughable Centrist.
Thank you.
They get a Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head. Thank you.
Thank you. So convenient. Let me jump in here. Thank you to the ghost of Dave Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Midnight Patron with patrons at midnight.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Municipal Medicinal Arsonist.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Oatmeal Savage.
Thank you.
Thank you to the To Be Terror Bunny says, the strikes may be over, but egg David Zaslav for fun and profit.
Thank you.
That's my boss.
I know. Thank you to these 7 Bs.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tiger Drawers Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chucks.
Thank you.
Thank you to Vincent.
Thank you.
Thank you to Why Don't You Take a Flying Fuck at the Moon?
Thank you.
Thank you to Yorgos from the island of Crete.
Yes.
And thank you to your mom.
Hey.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, what is
Here
it?
we are. We've come to the crossroads.
What's up?
At the end of all things.
What do you want?
And I need to know if you have a movie that deserves more hype.
Oh, yeah. I do, Tom. You know, I do this time.
Sweet.
I don't normally, but I do this time. This is currently at festivals. This is not I don't think you can like get it on it'll be on streaming eventually. This is called the Hyperboreans. I don't know what to think of this, nor do the reviews really. It's so artsy. It looks like a Guy Madden film. For people who aren't familiar, Guy Madden did My Winnipeg. He did The Forbidden Room. These very like artsy, surreal, mixed media things. I'm reminded of Dave Made a Maze, if people saw that movie.
Man, you are not making this more accessible.
No, it is very much not accessible. This is an experimental, immersive art house film about a Chilean Nazi sympathizer named Miguel Serrano, a real person. This is the reviews are people basically being like, it's very mixed. That's why I'm interested in it, because people are saying it's undoubtedly beautiful. Like if you watch this trailer, it is gorgeously made. It's really surreal and cool. I can't really describe it. There's a lot of like puppetry, shadow puppet stuff. None of it's computer like involves CGI in any way. Stop motion. But people are saying that it's just really fucking art house. Yeah. It's never boring. It's 71 minutes, and people are saying like it might be, they don't love it, but it's never fucking boring. And it's about I don't fucking know. It's a psychiatrist who is like talking to one of her, like she's psychoanalyzing one of her clients, and then it becomes like this weird fever dream where it like starts off fairly straightforward, talking about this actual Chilean, this is out of Chile, this movie, actual Chilean figure, and then it becomes just more of a like weird fever dream where he's like the patient who's called Metalhead becomes a cop and starts like going up. The term Hyperborean means like northern, I guess, and so it's about these like hunting these like Nordic mystic characters. But then it also goes back to like his childhood where his dad has a baby head. Like it's just real Lynchian nightmare. It's not going to be for everyone. I'm not even sure it's for me. What did you guys think of this?
I think it looks amazing.
It looks
I'm
amazing.
Really, really excited about the artistry of the film.
Yeah. I might be too dumb for it, is my takeaway, I think.
I wouldn't put it that way, because I don't know. I see a lot of art house films, and like, as long as they're entertaining, and it sounds like people are saying like this is certainly entertaining.
Yeah.
Like I think the worst thing a movie can be is boring a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. But the only reason I know what it's about is because someone told me. Like I certainly
Right.
wouldn't watch this and go, aha, yes, of that Chilean Nazi sympathizer.
Right.
So I do, yeah. It's one that people should definitely look at the trailer because it's really hard to describe it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, but I'm certainly not. I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. Again, most of the reviews are people like, yeah, it's undeniable. It's you got to see it.
Yeah.
I like it all, like the sort of stagecraft aesthetic that it has.
Yes.
That really appeals to me, and it is like I still need to watch that movie Thousands of Beavers.
Yeah,
that
me
has
too.
that kind of look to it.
Hundreds of beavers.
Hundreds of beavers, right? Sorry, thousands.
Yeah.
That's the sequel.
Yeah,
Gotta
better
up the
be.
stakes.
Yeah, it has like that Wes Anderson quality, right? Where it's like on a stage a little bit, or
Yeah,
like,
a little bit, but even more low tech than Wes Anderson. But
yes.
yeah, that surreal, heightened, or artificial reality vibe. I really like that.
Yeah.
No idea
Yeah,
if
me
I'm going to
too.
actually like the movie, but it sure looks pretty.
Yeah.
Right. Like, Dan, if you ever seen a Guy Madden film,
I've not.
you get
Never.
okay. Going into those, you kind of think like, oh fuck, this is gonna be artsy, and they turn out to be like a little more down to earth and funny, like a little more like Kids in the Hall sketches.
Okay.
Almost Adult Swim at some point.
Almost, yeah, where you're expecting like a real like, oh, this is gonna be a slog, and then you're like, I'm actually enjoying this as like a piece of comedy.
It looks like, I mean, I'll check out some more films by him because I've never heard of him until this podcast, but it really looks like the kind of movie that would be perfect for to be playing on like a big screen in the background of a party or at a bar
Yes.
with no sound. So you're just like hanging out and like you look at it every once in a while and try to figure out what's going on. It's just like a fun visual thing to enjoy.
Yes. Somewhat. Some of with Guy Madden, like I'd say My Winnipeg is a lot of the voiceover is amazing.
Mhm.
But that's all to say this isn't a Guy Madden film. It just has those vibes. Only this looks like it's less comedic, and that's why I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, all right, this is different. This is a different beast, but it has a lot of similar vibes. I still, I want to watch it to see what it is. It's gorgeous. It really is. Like every frame looks like a work of art, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah. I'm getting a fairy tale vibe, so hopefully that's the direction it goes in.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody just go watch the trailer.
At
the
least-
Hyperboreans.
Yeah, at least for this guy's taste.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that's it. We've done it. That's a sode.
That
All
is
right.
a cold, frothy sode.
Daniel, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
I'm so glad I made it to the end of an entire podcast for you guys, and I didn't pitch a spin-off podcast that we would never deliver on, as I've done many years in the past for our Hugo Weaving podcast that never came to fruition.
Holy shit! I didn't even know
not
that was a
remember
thing.
Man, we should do that.
Yeah, I kind of want to.
It'd be
I
an
kind of want to do a
incredible
Hugo.
podcast.
As soon as I started talking about multiplicity earlier, I thought pitch them a multiplicity podcast, and I was like, just deliver on one of the podcasts you promised first.
Yeah, finish your other podcast first. Oh well. Speaking of podcasts and stuff, do you want to plug things at the end here?
Quick question with Soren and Daniel. You can get that anywhere you get podcasts. It's free, but you can also be a Patreon subscriber. And if you do that, you get some bonus podcasts. If you don't like listening to podcasts, we also release all of them on YouTube, and you can see our faces and see how poorly the two of us are aging in real time.
Oh, you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. It's one of early commenters' favorite thing to point out was the direction that time goes, and that we look different than we did when they knew us 10 years ago. And
Right?
like,
Who would have thought?
don't worry, listeners. I know that too. I know it every day.
I'm acutely aware.
Oh, time go forward.
Time is savage.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'll plug our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. GAMEFULLY unemployed. We have exclusive podcasts. Podcasts.
You got like an accent there. Podcasts.
On there. Podcasts. Like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. We watch movies every Friday night with our patrons as well. It's a lot of fun. Lots of, just getting together. Movies.
What are you watching this
People
Friday?
love movies. What's that?
What are you watching this Friday?
That is, I don't know. It's a surprise to us.
Oh.
We usually. What did you watch? I wasn't there last Friday. Did you watch Mac and Me, Tom?
We did. We watched Mac and Me, and then Harry and the Hendersons.
Fuck. So yeah, that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
Got it. Of
Yeah.
course. Movies
Yeah,
like that.
nonsense.
I see. Yes.
Gibberish. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your Mac and Me peepers onto that, I guess. That didn't make any sense.
Your McDonald's
Your
shilling
McDonald's
peepers.
That scene is
Ooh.
embarrassingly long.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
I have never seen Mac and Me apart from the scene that I've seen 10,000 times like everybody else.
There's an even more incredible one later on in the film when an entire gas station explodes and kills the little boy in the wheelchair.
No.
And it's a wide shot of the gas
Kills
station.
him?
Yes, he dies. They revive him with their alien magic, like E.T., except they do it with
Holy
Coca-Cola.
shit.
They revive him with
Excellent.
Coca-Cola.
Wow.
But it's a wide shot of the gas station completely engulfed in flames, and the wheelchair in front of it, and what is very clearly a dummy just sprawled across it.
Holy fucking
I
shit.
argue that shot is even just as good as the Paul Rudd one.
That's amazing. I gotta watch Mac and Me.
Also, the explosion seemingly kills all of the aliens, Mac and
Yeah.
his
Oh.
entire family.
Rats.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's a hell of a scene.
Yeah, let's watch it again this Friday. Sean.
We should just watch the same two movies.
Yeah, fuck it.
Oh,
New to
man.
me.
All right, say goodbye, everyone. We can be done.
Bye,
All
everyone.
right, goodbye.
Bye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. Find him on Twitter at @thecorlew or go to shipwrecksailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Episode artwork is by Justin Brown. Available on Twitter as @JustinTBrown or at artnessbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or Twitter @StarleneX. Goodbye now.